But like, what's the proof that the vaccine is the mark of the beast? If anything, couldn't you argue that maybe God has provided us with the medical technology to
Well,
develop
I'm
protection
not
against the virus?
anti-vaccine in general. I've taken other vaccines, the flu shot, the Tdap, you know.
Okay, so this just makes your opinion look
But
even
this
more
is an
delusional then.
mRNA. This is an what's that?
This makes your opinion look even more delusional then, because you're just against COVID vaccine. And you're not a troll just here to get on the call by making bullshit up in my Discord?
No, I thought some people might either think that or that you would have immediately banned me for that. So,
Okay, so I'll read your message and then you could start. The COVID vaccine is the mark of the beast, and once one receives the chip, they lose their soul. Nothing has led me to believe otherwise, considering the flip-flopping of the government and health officials. All right, cool. So, you first.
it's a lot of things, and it's a lot of things in a short text of speech. But if you look at when they first came out with masks, people were wearing them in other places that get infections for a long time, Hong Kong. So this isn't new to the COVID virus. This is from any virus that's been going on. COVID might be a new virus, but it is a virus nonetheless. So the effectiveness of masks, which initially, before lockdowns and everything, they started saying those weren't effective. Don't wear them. There's no point. It's not. They use the excuse a lot that
if you don't mind me cutting you off really quickly, and I apologize because this is going to sound like a completely unrelated question, but I do have to ask, did you by any chance vote for Donald Trump? If you did, I'm not going to shit on you or anything else. I'm just curious.
Well, I'm Canadian, so no, and I wouldn't have either.
Okay. I
wouldn't have voted for Biden though. I'm a Canadian, but I didn't like either of them at the end.
Okay, that's fair enough. So you're right that there were some inconsistencies there at the beginning, but those inconsistencies have since been very publicly addressed. I'm sure you've heard the response as to why there was that flip-flop. As we know, Fauci was, and listen, I don't actually agree with the use of this type of tactic necessarily, but you have to understand that people were buying out toilet paper just because it was spreading on the internet about COVID and everything else. So that alone, like, it's obvious that information is going to spur large buyouts of certain products. So part of the reason that Fauci didn't really address it or said otherwise that they weren't really that effective is so that they wouldn't be bought out by consumers. Now, I will agree with you that
right, and to be fair, that's what a lot of us figured. A lot of people who might be hesitant, that they had good reason to, sort of conceal the original statements. But when you have a little bit of deception, you can sort of understand why it makes us really concerned for what could be hidden from the COVID vaccine.
Why? This was one inconsistency that was like not particularly has been very directly addressed and ameliorated. We know why they said the thing about the masks. I don't agree with those tactics, really. I think that you're right, that it does hurt their credibility and it does make it seem like they're being deceptive. But even so, this doesn't even translate to the vaccines necessarily. This, you could argue, was Dr. Fauci being inconsistent. The vaccines are going through the FDA, the CDC, the World Health Organization. This is a whole conglomeration here.
Like a conspiracy, a cohort of people.
No,
now
I'm saying they're all working. They all are like affirming this data. Yeah, that's not a conspiracy. That's what they're doing.
Conspiring to do something. When I say I aspire, I conspire. But that's beside the point. It's spiritual. If you look at Revelation 16, which is why I said it being the mark of the beast, that says no man may buy or sell unless they have the mark on their hand or on the forehead, the number of the beast. Now, it's not that the vaccine, I should have maybe worded that better. It's that what will come with it is a part of that mark of the beast
What does this
system.
have to? I thought the mark of the beast is supposed to define Christ, or I thought it's going to be like, since it is the mark of the beast, then like Christians cannot get it because that would be like
Exactly, you lose
contradicting
your
God's
soul.
will, right? But like, what's the proof that the vaccine is the mark of the beast? If anything, couldn't you argue that maybe God has provided us with the medical technology to develop protection
I'm not
against the virus?
anti-vaccine in general. I've taken other vaccines, the flu shot, the Tdap.
Okay, so this just makes your opinion look
But
even
this
more
is an
delusional then.
mRNA. This is an what's that?
This makes your opinion look even more delusional then, because you're just against COVID vaccine.
See, that makes more sense, and I don't know how you finding that delusional to me is a little hilarious because
I just want to know why you think that what makes this the mark of the beast?
The mRNA, a couple of things. You have to understand the system of the beast, and then you understand that the mark is part of their system, which is the COVID passport has more significance to proving that the mark is the chip. Because it will be mandatory and implemented, and no one will buy or sell unless they have it.
So I literally did one little lookup here from BibleOdyssey.org, reading about how it's actually become quite common, and especially in recent decades. It literally says right here, conspiracy-minded individuals who combine idiosyncratic interpretations of the Bible with fears that evil governmental or religious forces are overtaking society have variously interpreted 666 as a reference to the United Nations, some president of the United States, the Washington Monument, and the European Union. So throughout history, we have seen, no offense, buddy.
They were wrong, though.
No. But no offense to you, but like throughout history, we've seen lunatics make these kind of claims that like, this is the mark of the beast. This is the mark of the beast. The point of the mark of the beast is that it is a direct
system.
No, it's a direct proclamation that you are like a child of Satan. That contradicts Christianity. This we don't see happening with the vaccine. The vaccine has nothing to do with Christianity.
Not yet. This is a part. All of this has been prophesized. This is just the beginning of the.
Hello?
Oh, I cut off there.
Okay, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, I said that this is just the beginning of the system they're implementing. This is one part of the beast system.
So is that just you? You want to walk me through that one a little bit more? What do you mean the beast system?
Right, that the Whore of Babylon, all of that it brings in. Mm-hmm. It's all. I'd have to get the pamphlet that I had, but it's all been foretold when you read in Revelation 16 to 18.
Okay, let's look it up.
And also, if you look at Mark's, we'll start with Revelations.
All right, let's see here. Let's go ahead and look up Revelation.
Let me get my Bible here.
All right, you get your Bible, buddy. The 7 bowls of God's wrath. Then I heard a loud voice from the temple saying to the 7 angels, "Go, pour out the 7 bowls of God's wrath on the earth." The first angel went and poured out his bowl on the land, and ugly, festering sores broke out on the people who had the mark of the beast and worshipped its image. Okay, so these are punishments for people that already took the mark of the beast.
Right. That's what's going to happen to people who get the COVID.
Wait, no, you can't say that the COVID vaccine has been prophesized in the Bible and then point me to something and say, this is what's going to happen that the Bible said after you get the COVID vaccine. What? No, you can't do that, buddy.
Once you have sold your soul, you can't. I mean,
where is the Bible foretold this?
It's not through the literal interpretation of it.
Okay, so you're inferring then from what you're reading, you're interpreting it yourself, that this is talking about the vaccine. You are interpreting that the vaccine.
Not me necessarily, but the people who understand this better than I do.
Okay, so those people have convinced you, so you yourself also believe that the vaccine is the beginning of this, right? but it's nowhere in the Bible. You're not able to point me to that. So
It
I'm
is
wondering,
when you understand the meaning that you might not understand yourself.
but don't you
Like if I
realize
don't
that
understand,
you're inferring what the mark of the beast or the beginning of the beast system is, and you're inferring that this is the fucking vaccine. But the problem
based
is,
on the evidence
hold on, but the
as
problem,
relayed by the Bible experts.
right? I know, but the problem is, if you want to look historically, you and the Bible experts and people like you have consistently been wrong and consistently used the mark of the beast as an excuse, more or less, to fill some kind of conspiratorial idea. So what I'm asking you really is, do you think that maybe it really has nothing to do with the Bible? Maybe you just don't want to take the vaccine and we should just talk about that?
Well, maybe for other people it is, but for me, I'm fine. I have nothing against vaccines, but to me, losing my soul and burning in hell for all eternity, which is what I've understood would happen, that to me is worth anything else that could happen. Whether someone
But you
comes and
haven't established that that's
whether
what's
they
going to happen
torture
if you
me
take the
or
vaccine.
I have. I've seen
Where? You told me to look at
worrying
Revelations. You
literature.
said it was going to be predicted, but
That wasn't the quotes I read were taken from Revelations.
uh, okay.
It's not my. This isn't my thesis or my opinion
It
or
is your
my
opinion.
interpretation
Don't
of the
try to
Bible.
wait. It's okay. You don't need to walk back on it. This is your opinion. I know that I know you get your information from other people too. That's
Not
fine.
my own, not my created opinion. It's my opinion. But what I'm trying to say is that it's not that I came up with this idea that shaped my opinion. It's my opinion. I'm not the only one who believes this.
I know you're not. That's the
So it's not
problem.
my
So
opinion.
I'm asking, ultimately,
I don't
since
own
you're
the
not really
patent
able
for
to,
my.
you're not really able to give me any substantial argument or anywhere even in the Bible that it even
It's
really
not just the Bible. The Bible is just one little thing on the whole thing of text. I'd have to give you all the either videos that I've seen or the pamphlets I was given, or you can read the Epoch Times where it mentions all of the timeline of things. If you want to read something specific. But as for the videos, we're talking about 20, 30 hours of things just to
I
get you
know.
started.
I know. Okay. I I don't need to watch like 30 hours of YouTube videos. I understand
You would to
generally.
get my opinion.
No, I generally think I understand, and I
Yeah.
think that I can see through the complexity. I don't know. I think maybe I'm not big-brained enough to understand this, or I think that I can see through that this whole conspiracy-minded, it's the mark of the beast, combined with the religion thing. This is a classic thing that has happened throughout history, and you're just another sucker in the line falling for it. And truthfully, I think that you might have some fears about the vaccine other than religious concerns. And I think that you might have fears about the vaccine, the consistency, maybe the inconsistency, the World Health Organization, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that you're using this biblical conspiratorial BS to sort of mask your more genuine fears. Help me out, am I right?
I've known people that have taken it. So I'm not afraid of the vaccine. I'm not afraid of needles, anything like that. Or I'm afraid of losing my soul ultimately, which could be a risk. It's like saying you could walk into the woods and get shot by someone if you dress up like a deer, but you might not. Even though that'll never happen, that's like a crazy thing that no one would ever do, or a scenario. You might lose your soul. It's just like I say to atheists.
But
If you don't believe in
that
God, the punishment would be hell. So if I was wrong on this and I did take it, imagine if I woke up in hell.
What if actually the vaccine is the like defense against the mark of the beast? What if the mark of the beast is COVID-19? COVID-19, like if you wanted to, we could go ahead and look at right here, the 7 bowels of God's wrath. Let's see. What are some of the symptoms here? Ugly festering sores. I guess we're not really seeing that with COVID-19, but it's still disease.
COVID-19
it's
is
still
also
hitting people.
Maybe COVID-19 is all. What's that?
Maybe COVID-19 is actually the mark of the beast.
It is 7 letters.
There you go.
And
It makes
If you do
don't
the
you see, dude? It
demonstration,
makes perfect sense.
right?
Dude,
I haven't
God,
thought, I
wait,
never
wait,
thought of
stop.
that.
No, wait. You just made a really good point. God has provided us with the vaccine. The vaccine is the defense against the mark of the beast. Don't you see? So you should get the vaccine to protect yourself against the mark of the beast. Does that make sense?
A vaccine against the mark of the beast. I've never heard of that.
But there you go. You just said it yourself that COVID-19 is 7 letters or whatever, right? Isn't that symbolic?
Yep.
So there you go.
I'll have to think. I'll have to think about that. Yeah.
All right, but earlier you were saying stuff like, well, it's an mRNA vaccine, yada yada. Like,
That's right, because it changes your DNA. That which takes away that's a part of the soul taking process.
So that's not true, actually. If it's my understanding, the mRNA vaccine. You know what? I can actually, just for you, buddy, I'll pull this up because I have a. Hold on. Let's see. I have a little explanation here for how it works. Okay.
Okay.
Unlike vaccines that put a weakened or inactivated disease germ into the body, so those vaccines you're okay with, the Pfizer mRNA vaccine delivers a tiny piece of genetic code from COVID virus to host cells in the body, essentially giving those cells instructions or blueprints for making copies of spike proteins.
Instructions. You see, there you go. It's coded.
Okay.
These are coded.
Stop, please. Are you trolling me right now?
No, I'm not.
Okay. You're not here to troll
I'm
me.
trying to listen. I'm genuinely trying to.
I'm trying to explain to you how this works, and it's not
But
code word for giving you demon blueprints or something. What this is giving you your cells instructions for how to protect your body against COVID-19. And that's why, right now, according to phase 3 clinical data presented in December, the vaccine has a 95% efficacy. It is extremely effective at stopping or slowing the spread of COVID-19. So what I need to understand is this. If this, let's say hypothetically that you're right, okay, that this is the mark of the beast or the beginning of it, right?
Right, okay.
Which would mean that it would be against God to get the vaccine. Am I correct in that assertion? Like if you were correct, if this was the beginning of the mark of the beast, wouldn't it technically be like against God? It's not God's will for you to take that vaccine.
You're saying as in COVID is the plague, and basically this is countering that in a sense.
No. What I'm saying is that hypothetically, let's say that I say that you are correct in your assertion that the vaccine is actually the beginning of the mark of the beast.
Right.
So let's say that I tell you for the sake of this argument that you're actually correct. My question to you would be, why would God, or why would a vaccine that protects you against a virus, why would that be against God? Doesn't God want his people, his creation to live?
Because Satan can disguise himself as an angel of light.
That's true, but I'm asking you.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is this
that
thing
the vaccine
could be good?
If you believe that the vaccine is the beginning of the mark of the beast, then why does
the vaccine is deceived because it's just like I said, how Satan can deceive himself as an angel of light.
So is Satan deceiving himself? Is Satan deceiving us with these data points here?
That the data is obviously good or bad, or how I don't see the data, but let's just whatever data you're referring to.
Pfizer's initial phase 3 clinical data.
It's manipulated either way to work. It could be if under the system that it could be as part of the deception because of.
So what do you have to say about the other studies that aren't done as well that are still like mentioned in this report here from Yale Medicine, where it talks about the vaccine not really having that great of a defense after a little while? If all the data was manipulated, wouldn't it all kind of say
it might have been written by someone who wasn't a part of the agenda?
So do you realize how no matter what I say, everything sort of plays in line with this sort of like conspiracy narrative that you've like concocted? Like this is like a real life, like I feel like
I haven't concocted it.
You have. Like, I'm listening to a real life Star Trek episode right now. I'm watching the X-Files in real time. This is like,
but the X-Files did predict a lot of things. In the last season, they talked about how they took the vaccines. You can look this up.
Okay,
I
don't care about the X-Files. What I'm saying is that like you don't really seem to have any support for these arguments. I'm wondering if there's something else, maybe another reason why you don't really want to get the vaccine. Is there like, you mentioned the inconsistency with the health officials. Now that that's cleared up, it seems like all you have left is this sort of conspiracy right here.
It's hard to explain to someone who doesn't understand spirituality and the unseen
Explain it to me
realm.
just simply. Explain it to me in the most simple way that you can, in the way that you understand it. You don't have to.
You know, when you get a very strong spiritual feeling that this is the right or wrong opinion.
No.
To the point, yes, it's a physical feeling.
So then I would say that this is bad, because then I would say that what you're doing is justifying this uncomfortable gut feeling you're having by saying that it's actually God or the Holy Spirit compelling you to feel this way. And that ultimately just justifies the argument that you can put feelings over facts. I might have a really uncomfortable feeling about riding on an airplane. Okay, I don't personally like flying. I get really scared flying in an airplane. But you know what? I do it anyway because it's irrational to not ride an airplane just because I'm afraid, just because I feel that way, because statistically the likelihood of me dying in an airplane crash, it's non-existent.
But it is there.
But there are risks everywhere. Then do you drive a car?
No, I don't.
Are you here to troll me?
No, I'm not. What? Because I don't drive?
How old are you?
That's not relevant.
Okay.
Anyway, as I was saying,
are your parents telling you these things?
That wouldn't matter either way.
Do you want me to call CPS? Do you want to put your dad on? I'll talk to him.
See, this is what you're doing. You're deflecting.
All right, I'm sorry. You're right. You backed me into a corner. I didn't know how to respond. I resorted to debate tactics. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the
lack of spirituality.
You're right. There's a demon in my heart right now. But let's go back to talking a little. Do you want to try to explain to me a little bit how in your mind this all works together to be the beginning of the mark of the beast?
Because as I said with the airplane, let's get back on track.
Okay.
As I said with the airplane, might be an astronomically low risk that this is going to happen, but the risk is still there.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the risk of losing your soul and burning in hell for all eternity
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
The risk for taking the COVID vaccine, with all of that, even though it could be non-existent, imagine losing your soul is eternal. That to me is more of a danger than COVID.
Have you ever taken any kind of like cold medication or like allergy medicine, like you get a cold or something? Ever?
Like what? Like aspirin or Tylenol?
Yeah, like yeah, exactly. Have you ever taken like Tylenol or aspirin or anything? Like if you get a headache?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, so then you just contradicted every single thing that you just said. So let me explain.
I take a lot of I took all of my vaccines.
Let me explain to you though, because if we operated in any other way in our life, the way that you are operating here with the vaccine, we wouldn't be able to even live our lives. There's not a 100% chance of anything in this world. Every time you take a Tylenol, there is a small chance that can cause liver failure. There is. I can send you studies on that if you want. But yet, you know that it's a small enough chance that you're willing to assess that the benefits of this thing outweigh the risks of this thing. So then you take the aspirin or you take the Tylenol. If we operated the way that
risks also, you are right in theory, but when you're dealing with the matter of the soul, that's a much more significant and greater thing than losing your kidneys or losing your health, because life is short.
But you realize that this is even more concerning, because we don't even you don't have a 100% chance that there's even a heaven or that there's even a hell. No one has a 100% knowledge of anything.
But there is the risk of the hell.
But there's also the risk that there's nothing and that you're now going to cut your life short
Well, there could, even if there was,
just
even if
because you
there was
fell into some
nothing.
conspiratorial nonsense that it sounds like
You
your dad told you.
No, my mother actually, but that's beside the point.
Do you want to put your mom on? I'll talk to her about this because this sounds really dangerous. Do you need me to call like CPS? Are you good?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm teasing. I went off into the debate tactics came back again. Sorry. But I don't really, the thing is that I don't really know how to argue because
Well, I'm not,
I genuinely am like, I'm, and I'm not saying this just as a rhetorical thing. Like, genuinely, I'm a little bit concerned for you because it sounds like you are actually delusional. And I'm not saying that as like a attacking you. I don't think that you are, I don't think you have to be delusional. I think you have the ability to not be delusional. But I think that what you're saying right now and what you're talking about, how this is the mark of the beast, it does not make sense. Not only are you not able to point me to any example in the Bible where this is even like supported even slightly. I don't even know where you can fucking infer this from the Bible, first of all. Second of all, it seems to contradict God's ultimate will, right? Like, if God's will is for us, I don't know. I guess you would have to decide what God's will would be, which I guess would be whatever would happen. But it seems like, I
At
don't
the
know, it
very
seems
least, I
controversial.
should make it clear that at least, I do everything in my power to protect myself. I wear the mask. I use hand sanitizer if that makes you feel better. So,
I'm just,
I do know COVID is real. I know there's some crazy people who actually don't believe that, but I know COVID is real. So I do take every measure in my capability to protect myself from either contracting or giving it to people.
so COVID's real, but the vaccine part is fake?
It might not be fake. The vaccine's obviously a real thing. It's not poof in your imaginary head. That would be crazy.
No, but like,
Um,
the vaccine is the mark of the beast. So is it like the Satanist plan was to get all of the all the doctors to affirm this during COVID? Was that like kind of the subversive decision there?
Before that, I think this was in the plans for 2030, some long time, way before either of us were born.
Hmm. So this has been like, okay. So this is like the end times?
Yes, exactly. That's it.
This is my exact issue though, is because people have been saying it's the end times forever.
But they didn't have COVID.
But they had the
This big
Spanish
plan.
flu. They had the
But
Black Death. They had the plague. They had way worse shit than COVID. What do you
but
mean?
they didn't have. They didn't have. They had more. There was more spirituality then.
What do you mean? They
I'm
were
trying.
some of them like at the times were burning witches, people that they thought were witches, right? Like, what do you mean?
I can't really put that together myself, but I just know that it was different.
Do you think that maybe it's just that you are kind of seeing that the current moment that you live in as being like very unique, even though generally speaking, like COVID's not nearly as bad as like the plague or the black flu or whatever the fuck it was called? Do you think that that's a possibility?
Oh, of course, everything in your life feels, but this is by far the most far-reaching, even though in terms of numbers, but in terms of its globalized effect. And Satan has having dominion over the earth
But why
would
would Satan be the one delivering the medicine in this case? Wasn't Jesus like the healer?
because
Jesus healed the
he's
blind.
concealing. Satan is physically concealing himself as an angel of light, possibly in the form of the COVID vaccine. The vaccine may very well do good things,
How do you know it's
but
the Satan? How do you know it's Satan
it could
disguising
be.
himself in light? What if it actually is a blessing from God that America was the first to develop this revolutionary vaccine in record time, and now we're able to deliver it around the world? This is a biblical tendency right here. God was like the creator. He was the healer, right?
Everything is ultimately created by God.
I'm
So
just
yeah,
asking that it seems really strange that Satan would be the one delivering the vaccine. Why would
because
Satan be the one who was delivering the cure? Satan doesn't
he
heal
he
people.
delivered Adam and Eve to the garden. He tempted Adam and Eve in the garden with an apple. That was something good you eat.
Does
Fruit,
Satan
the
have the
forbidden
ability
fruit.
to heal?
Yes, he could, but he does it for evil reasons. If he chose to do it.
Let's see. I don't know. I can't look this up on the fly. But it's just I think that you need to.
It's more of the Antichrist, which is part of the end times. That COVID is a part of the mark of the beast and the Antichrist. And
I know. There's the mark of the beast.
Evil.
I know. There's the mark of the beast. There's
all
there's
the
Leviathan. There's the Antichrist. There's the fake Christ. Dude, honestly,
the main thing is
listen.
at
the end of the day, hold on. At the end of the day, this conversation's over because I cannot take another plot twist here in this never-ending X-Files episode.
Yeah.
What I will say though is that I really think, buddy,
so I can understand that.
No, it's wrong. It's not that it's complicated. It's that it's delusional and it's completely factually wrong and doesn't have any basis in reality. You're not able to actually substantiate any of your claims. All you're saying is that it's the mark of the beast because my mom told me so. That's pretty much that's what I'm walking away here with this conversation here. So I'm not saying this as a joke, but seriously, I really think you need to get help. And I would also ask if you want to put your mom on, I'd be happy to talk to her as well.
She's not here.
Okay.
Okay. Bye. Thank you for having me though, and not banning me.
Sure, man. Just take a break from the InfoWars, all right?
Okay. Bye.
If God is real, I'm praying for that guy. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you get notified when I drop a new video.